So I have this spiral that rolls and unrolls and looks kind of cool, and I'd like to use it in other applications. So I guess the next step would be for me to go ahead and apply these modifiers and move on. But now that I've done that, that scroll is locked in and it is what it is. So that's not going to work. And if I try to take a shortcut and just take the project as is and try to bring it into something like Unity, it's not going to work. Most of the time, modifiers don't translate well into other things. So I need to find a different solution. So I think what I'm going to do is turn to shape keys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shift D and duplicate that scroll. And this scroll, I will apply the modifiers to. And while we're at it, let's rename that rolled. Then we'll grab our spiral and we'll unfurl things. And I'm going to select the other scroll now, and I will apply those modifiers. And let's rename that rolled. So now I will go ahead and I'm going to select each object, and I'm going to go to my Data Properties tab. Rather than just adding shape keys, I'm going to select the little drop-down arrow and I'm going to join as shapes. That done, I'm going to hide the unrolled one, so we have only the rolled. And we will see that on the unrolled, because that was the active object, I've got two shape keys on here, basis and unrolled. And if I go to the unrolled and slide the slider, we will see that it unrolls. So now the one problem that we do have, however, is that as we do that, we can see there's a problem right here with how it unwraps. So I may well go ahead and do the same process, but with multiple steps. Instead of 2 shape keys, I might do 3 or 4. I'll have to play with it a little bit, but that's the basic principle of how I will go about fixing that issue. As the Mythbusters often say, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. And I put in a lot more of these shape keys than I actually need. But that's what I ended up doing for the moment. More on this later, but the one note I want to add is that if you're working with multiple shape keys, relative to is significant. Because if I have scroll 11 relative to basis and I slide the value, we're going to see that that messed up behavior still happens. So by changing that and saying that that's going to be relative to the previous scroll, then when I go ahead and change the value, we'll have more consistency in what's happening. Now that doesn't look quite right how I did that, but that's because I have the other values already set. But what we can basically see is that if I go to a given shape key and scroll it out and then move on to the next shape key and adjust the value and so on, that this gradually unfurls in a way that is appropriate to what I want. So more on this later, maybe if I decide that it's relevant.